Like, okay.
All right. Welcome everyone this evening. Tonight we are here. We've got our online presence going here and it's recording just so everybody's aware, but we are here for the City of Orinoco's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. It's Thursday, October 9th, and it's officially 6:30. So with that, I will call this to order. First up is our roll call. Commissioner Kathy Brandt Rucker, Chair. I'm here. John Evans.
Here.
Grant.
Here.
Thank you. Jim Phillips.
Here.
Scott Sorensen. Daniel Spring.
Here.
All right. We do have one open position, so shameless plug, if anybody's interested, we do have an open seat with volunteers available at the city. If you have an application, please let us know if you're interested. Staff, Evan Munson from Stantec.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Great.
And thank you.
Excellent.
Joe Palin, also from Stantec. Nope. Jason Baker from the city. Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, he's online.
Oh,
He's online.
oh, yep, Jason's online. Okay. And you said Mel Griggs also online from the city?
Yep.
Well, welcome everyone this evening. With that, next up is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes or additions to the agenda for this evening, folks? All right, all in favor of the agenda as written, say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay, agenda is approved for this evening. Next up, we've got approval of the minutes. We don't currently have any in our packet. I know that you've been working with Otter AI to transcribe and get those here.
Yeah. Work on past minutes. I can probably do the ones since we started Otter.
Okay.
See what I can do for next meeting with this year's.
Yeah, I know going back many meetings that the city council did approve, and this might be, I don't know how far back we'd have to look, that city council did approve city staff to be able to help with their time on helping with the minutes too.
Yeah, that was
I
with
know,
Mary.
yeah, so
Yeah, she was supposed to check.
so it's going back a ways, but just so you're aware, that's out there too, but hopefully this Otter AI will do the magic for us.
Yep.
So nothing there to approve for this meeting. Next up for this evening at 6:35. So unfortunately, folks, if you're very excited to be here, we do have to wait till 6:35 and it is 6:32. We do have 3 public hearings for this evening. All 3 hearings are actually related to the same property. And for those that are following online, we also do have the information posted out on the website. So thank you, Mel, for that. We do have a rather large packet of information. So how the public hearing will work is if there is anybody here that's present that would like to speak for or against the application as we work through the 3 public hearings, we would say there are forms up at the podium. Please feel free to fill out a form, sign it, and turn it in here so that we have record of it. And then everybody present will get a chance to speak. Anyone, and we'll also check if there's anybody online that would want to speak. Once that's done, we close the public hearing, and at that point, we have a conversation up here, a discussion between the commissioners. We also will get a staff report at that point. But that's the general format of how a public hearing works. So again, 3 of them this evening. And with that, I know all 3 of them had until Tuesday to submit comments to Jason Baker at the city till 2 o'clock. I did not see that we got any additional comments that we have received that were forwarded to us. So just so everyone's aware, if there's any more comments that would come in, it would be coming through this evening through this method. On our last minute, folks. Getting closer. Few more seconds, shameless plug, applications on the website if anybody's interested in volunteering. Your planning and zoning commissioners up here are composed of 2 city council members that do get appointed, but everybody else up here is a volunteer from the city that either lives or owns property here in the city. And it's 6:35, so nobody has to listen to me there any longer. With that, 6:35, I will call to order the first public hearing of this evening. It's the conditional use permit application for Greener's Pub and Cocktail Lounge, parcel ID 84.17.220895557. And so 6:30, is there anyone present that would like to speak for or against the application? I do have to say this 3 times, folks. Is there anyone present that would like to speak for or against the application? Is there anyone present that would like to speak for or against the application? Anyone online?
I don't know who this is, but they're in the process of joining. I'll ask one more time.
Is there anyone present or online that would like to speak for or against the application? And hearing none, I will at this time close the public hearing at 6:36. And with that, Evan, are you able to walk us through the staff report?
Certainly. So I'll start with just a brief overview, and then we'll get into some of those details that you'll see in the staff report later on. Just as an overview, the applicant is remodeling an existing building located in downtown, just a few feet away from City Hall itself. He's proposing a retail business in the front or the west end of the property, and then a bar and restaurant on the other side, basically the rear or east end of the existing building. He's also building a new parking lot, which would be located just south of that building. The 3 requests you have before you tonight, one is what's called a conditional use permit. Since this site is zoned B1, allows a bunch of different uses either by right or through a conditional use permit, which you have here tonight. The retail and restaurant uses themselves are both permitted in your B1 zone. Since he is proposing a bar within the restaurant, that would fall under what's called the tavern use under your current zoning ordinance, and that is a conditional use. So that's why you have the CUP here before you tonight. The first variance you have tonight is in regards to off-street parking requirements. So as you may recall, there's different required parking based on the type of use that's being proposed, or uses in this case that are being proposed on a property. The uses on this property would total approximately 38 stalls of off-street parking. As you'll see before you tonight, the applicant does not have enough land to provide that many stalls of parking. What they have in their plan right now is 21 stalls total, or 17 shorter, varying from the requirement under your current code. The second variance before you tonight is in regards to building coverage. So that B1 zone that this property is zoned as, there is a limit on how much building coverage you can have per the lot area. That limit is 25% of the lot area. And so what you have already for the existing building does exceed that 25% threshold. They are proposing a small addition, an entry vestibule on the south side of the building, which would further increase the building coverage on the lot. And so since you're increasing the coverage further above that 25% threshold, that triggers an additional variance. So those are the 3 requests before you tonight. As you keep scrolling through your staff report, you'll see an aerial of the site. It's approximately 16,800 square feet in size. You have Minnesota Avenue on the west side and then an alleyway on the east side. And then there is a little bit of a slope on the property as it goes from to the north and the east side. Getting further into your staff report for you tonight, the conditional use permit request, we'll cover that one first. Again, a conditional use is for any type of use that's allowed if certain conditions are met. And so you'll also see that you have the ability to add conditions of approval as well. You do have criteria for a review of a conditional use within your code. That's found in section 151.081 subsection C. And those are then presented before you in italics in your staff report, and then with staff findings following. Based on those criteria, staff would note that the proposed use does appear to meet all those criteria. And then there would be, again, those 2 variances we discussed that would need to be approved in order to approve that conditional use permit here tonight. Getting further into your staff report, we'll get into the off-street parking. So as you may note, again, there's not really a lot of room for parking on the site. The only things that the applicant could do would either be get more land, which we can't, force or require him to get more land, or we'd have to basically remove the building and then have parking, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. And so that's why they're requesting that variance here tonight. Similar to a conditional use permit, there's different criteria that you will review tonight. You'll need to make findings that all of those criteria are met in order to recommend approval of the variance. Again, those criteria are found in section 151.401 of your ordinance. Just as an overview, the code does require, again, different amounts of off-street parking based on the type of use being proposed. The applicant's plans, again, show 21 stalls, which is less than required, and you'll see a little breakdown of those different requirements in that memo for you tonight. Based on our review, it also suggests that the applicant work with their neighboring properties, notably the church to the east, to get some agreements in place so that any patrons or customers of the businesses can park on those nearby lots. In the case that both of their businesses are very successful, they may not be able to accommodate all the demand for parking that those businesses would generate. And so in order to be proactive and reduce any complaints in the future, we would recommend they work with their neighbors to secure some agreements. As noted, those criteria for variances are listed in your staff report, again in italics, and then you do have staff findings following. And I can get into further detail in those if you want, but just keep going. The other variance is, again, in regards to the lot coverage. The building existing on site is approximately 26% of the lot coverage. That vestibule addition would bring it up to about 26.6% lot coverage. So again, that's triggering a variance before you tonight as well. In order to actually meet the code, they would have to actually remove the vestibule and remove approximately about 280 square feet to meet that 25% requirement. Again, you have the criteria for the variance before you tonight in that staff report. And then if you guys want to go through any of those staff comments, we certainly can. You'll also see Joe Palin, the city engineer's comments as well. He does note that final review would be performed by staff if this conditional use permit and variances are approved. He still needs some additional information from the applicant to determine applicable fees for water and sewer. He again noted the recommendation on parking agreements with the neighbors. He also has a recommendation on some ways to tweak the site plan to get some parking in front of the building, as well as rearranging the ADA stall on the parking lot to squeeze one more additional stall in there. Even with those changes, though, you'd still, again, would be under that 38 stall requirement based on your current zoning ordinance. The options that you guys have for each request for you tonight, you can recommend approval with findings and then any conditions of approval. At the end of your staff report, you do have those recommendations, both with findings as well as conditions of approval. Likewise, you can also recommend denial. If you guys do this, staff would recommend that you table the item and then direct staff to prepare findings for denial. And then ultimately, the third option you do have is to table the request. The recommendations at the end of your report, starting with the variance for parking that is recommended for approval with a few conditions. One, that they have to adhere to the plans before you tonight. There would also be conditions based on the recommendations from the engineer in regards to additional parking on the site. They would also have conditions about any agreements being made between them and neighbors being submitted to the city. And then they'd have to get any permits and pay any fees with those permits. The recommendation for the variance regarding building coverage is also for approval. Conditions of approval recommended for that request are that they would have to follow the plans before you tonight. Again, get any permits and then pay for any of those permits. And then the recommendation for the conditional use permit or CUP is that that would be approved with conditions. Notably, they would have to follow the plans before you tonight. They'd have to provide the information to the city engineer for applicable wastewater fees. They have to get any permits or other approvals, as well as the variances approved tonight. And then again, secure any other permits and then pay fees for those permits.
Thank you. Question for you, just from my own understanding. So right now we've got the conditional use permit is the first public hearing out there. Then we've got the variance for the building coverage and then the variance for parking.
Mhm.
We do have to vote, my understanding is each one of those separately.
Correct.
I have two more public hearings to finish off this evening, but with that, is there a specific order you think that we need to take these to vote in? Do we, because
I
right now,
would do the variances first, and then depending how you vote on those, then I would do the conditional use permit last.
okay. That's what I'm trying to make sure I've got in order
Mhm.
here. And just with that, just to clarify for everybody, we are doing the public hearings this evening. We go through the information. What we do is we vote and we vote it. It is a recommendation that goes to city council for final approval, and then they sign off one way or the other. They are able to agree or disagree with what we've done, so. With that, thank you very much. I appreciate the in-depth on that one. And for those following along, there is a packet, and partway through the packet, the page numbers disappear. That is the part where you've got some of the findings and the recommendations that got inserted, and then the packet continues on after that. So just so everybody's aware if you're following along. Any discussion on the first one, but I'm wondering if we want to, do we want to,
We make a motion and then we can do discussion. Okay.
yeah,
So I make a motion to approve, which would be down here as number 2, petition of a variance regarding building coverage, vestibule addition to Greener's Pub and Cocktail Lounge, partial ID 84.17.22089557.
before I accept that and ask for a second, because we are on technically the first of the public hearings.
But we were putting that one off because that's a conditional use.
Right, so, I don't know if I pause the first public hearing and then we open the
Okay.
second public
However you
hearing.
want to do it, yeah, that's gonna come first.
Robert's Rules of Order, I will be the first to admit I am not the expert on that, so. With that, we've gotten the staff report to kind of cover all of them. We'll hold off on a motion on the first one. And we will pause that discussion until we've gotten through all the public hearings. So the next public hearing I'm gonna open for this evening, it's 6:47 PM. This will be the public hearing to the petition of variance regarding building coverage, vestibule addition, Greener's Pub and Cocktail Lounge, parcel ID 84.17.22089557. And with that, I also have to ask, is there anyone present who would like to speak for or against the application? This is for the vestibule. Is there anyone present that would like to speak for or against the application? Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against the application? I do have to say it 3 times. Is there anyone online? I'm not seeing a hand up or anything. So with that, we will close this public hearing at 6:48. And we will move on to the third public hearing. It is 6:48, and with that, we will open the public hearing for the petition for variance regarding parking for Greener's Pub and Cocktail Lounge, parcel ID 84.17.22089557. And is there anyone present that would like to speak for or against the application or online? We haven't seen anybody yet, but is there anyone that would like to speak for or against the application? This is for parking. Is there anyone that would like to speak for or against the application? This is for parking. It is 6:48, and with that, I will close the public hearing. So we've had our 3 public hearings. We've got 3 different applications up here. I would take a motion on any of those applications for discussion.
I make a motion
Thank you.
on number 2, petition of variance regarding building coverage, vestibule addition, Greener's Pub and Cocktail Lounge, parcel ID 84.17.22089557.
And you would like a motion to
Approve.
approve using the conditions and findings of fact as stated in the packet?
Yes.
Stantec, okay. Is there a second for that?
Second that.
We've got a first and a second. So with that, is there any discussion on the motion for the vestibule? This is for the variance. Any discussion? Okay, hearing no discussion, all in favor of the motion as stated, say aye.
Right.
Any opposed, same sign? And with that, the motion for the vestibule has been recommended for approval to go to city council. Is there another motion? We've got two more to get through here.
We gotta make a motion to approve. This is on number 3 that we have for a petition for variance regarding parking at Greeners Pub and Cocktail Lounge, parcel ID 84.17.22089557.
And using the findings of fact as stated in the packet
Mhm.
and approvals for condition, those conditions in them. Is there a second on that?
Second.
Second, beat you to it. Thank you. So we have a motion and a second with that to approve the parking variance, the application for the parking variance. Any discussion?
Will the two businesses be open simultaneously most of the time?
Yeah, we're looking at daytime
Okay,
bar. We're not looking at late night. So we're looking at like 10 in the morning till either 8 or special events till 10.
so there's the retail would be open at the same time?
Yes,
Primarily?
yes.
Okay.
It might close if it's a special event. But yeah, no, it's gonna be kind of like a general store where, you know, you have your merchandise and your candy and your chocolates and your ice cream cones you'll be able to get, and yeah, and then your family-friendly pizza and cocktails.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then have you guys reached out to the church about parking?
We have not.
Okay,
No, we'll have to catch up with him tonight, yeah.
okay. All right, sounds good. That's all I had.
Thank you. Any other questions? We do have the applicants here, so. Okay, any more discussion? Let's hear. Okay, hearing no discussion with that, we do have a motion with first and second. So I will call a vote. All in favor, this is the variance for parking. Say aye. Any opposed? Same sign? Okay, so with that, the approval would go forward as it will go forward to city council requesting approval or recommending approval on that one. Now, we do have one final application, so what we have left is the conditional use permit. And is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the number 1, which is conditional use permit for Greeners Pub and Cocktail Lounge, parcel ID 84.17.220895557.
And with that, using the findings of fact from the packet and the conditions as listed?
Yes.
Okay, just double checking. Is there a second for this one?
I would second that.
Thank you. So we've got a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion up front here? Any questions? I have one question, but this is just me. Do you have a menu yet? You said pizza, you said.
Yes,
Now I'm always looking for
Yes.
gluten-free food, so that's all.
I'm celiac,
Oh,
so I'm gluten. Yes,
we've got a
yes,
celiac in my family.
yes,
So-
yes, gluten-free stuff. Yes,
Okay,
yes.
we'll talk later. We'll talk
Yes,
afterwards.
yes, yes.
All right. That's all I had for questions, folks. With that, if there is no more discussion up front, I will call the vote on that. All in favor of approving recommendation of approval to send it to city council, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, so this would move forward, all three of them, with the findings of fact and with the conditions as listed in the packet here. That we did get from Stantec to go to council. At council, they get the final say to approve the work that we've done here, or they can change it. But we do send it forward, asking them to approve it. If you do have other questions, I do know then they will meet again. Is it
Next week.
next week?
That's right.
So that would be the day that more activity will take place on this.
So that's next meeting is at the,
City council.
city council for next week.
21st.
21st, yeah,
21st.
it's not next week, it's.
Okay,
Yeah.
2 weeks from now, okay.
All right. So thank you very much. Yes,
One question. Listening to this, I know that they're gonna be borrowing parking space from Grace Lutheran. Shouldn't we make sure that they don't have an option, or they don't disagree or with that or not? I mean,
I think that's just a condition of approval is
Okay.
that they approach them, so it's,
they,
so it's. a
Grace
con-
Lutheran is not obligated to have to do
Correct.
that.
okay,
Correct. We're asking them, we're encouraging them to
yeah.
talk to them, and then if they do have an agreement, we'd recommend they submit that agreement to the city so that they're aware of what's going on.
I mean, everybody knows they're gonna use it. But we wanna find out if Grace Lutheran is opposed to it. I think.
Yep, that makes complete sense. I know there was similar stuff when they did the old schoolhouse, they were to approach and, well, we know how that kind of went. Sometimes it gets really busy parking up there, so. um, there's so much we can do, and one of them is they do have a condition in there to approach the church. The church does not have to agree to it.
Okay,
Yep,
I'm not a member there, I just don't wanna ignore them and assume,
absolutely.
that's all.
Thank you.
Are you a member?
I am.
He's past it.
It's a very legitimate question to ask, so I appreciate the feedback. Okay, folks, the public hearings for this evening are done. With that, new business, we have a short list. Additional meeting request was received, so there was an application that came through, but it was too late to make the legal notice time that's required for a public hearing. So it will be on next month unless folks feel the ability, and it's hard. I know we're all volunteers trying to figure out dates and nights and weeks, if there's a date or time that we could make a Thursday work between now and the next meeting. I do know I will be out of town next week. So on Thursday.
Jason or Mel, what day would we have to have that public hearing posted? And so would our options be for, another meeting, a special meeting?
So we would have to give, try to think, because the special meetings require shortly less notice, but we'd still like to be able to give proper 10-day notice. If ideal.
Your request would need a 10-day notice. I don't know if there's enough time on the calendar to squeeze it in.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't give enough time by the next meeting to squeeze it in. And then that would,
It would have to go to council after that, so
right,
not only would
Yeah,
planning and zoning have to do one council, meeting, also have to.
I think it's just gonna be awful tough. I think we're just gonna have to probably put it into next month is what I'm looking at,
Okay,
which makes sense, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I just thought I would check.
Hmm.
All right, and then we do have from a September permit report, so that is the very tail end of the packet for this evening. Just a list, and this is where we've requested to look at what's going on, what permits are going out, so that we at planning and zoning have an idea if there's areas of focus that we need to study. Now, we have worked through a lot of the code in the last year with the help of a consultant and the help of a lot of feedback that we've gotten from the community through various organizations with the steering committee, as well as the public survey and 2 months worth of a public hearing, so. With that, it looks,
If the commissioners are willing to hear, I do have an update. If it's helpful, the permit report that comes monthly could also come to you in a 3-month or a 6-month plan. If you're looking to follow permits that are out 30 days or 60 days, we could comply. Secondly, I had a comment to make, which has lost me now. But we're willing to work with, the following of the development that's happening that doesn't necessarily come through planning and zoning. If they meet the requirements of the zoning, it's not always going to come to the board. Now it has come to me. My second thought was that the software program available at Orinoco.com is available to the public, as well as to the commissioners and city council members to access at any given dates of their choice to review permits and applications.
Great.
Mel, I think that would be great to have that follow-up that you had recommended that way. On that, just to have that, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, and I'm thankful that looks like there's 20 different permits that we did not have to do 20 public hearings this evening. So I thank you for that too. Questions, folks? Any feedback on the permit report? Okay. Moving forward under old business, I know I have discussion, the RFP draft for future zoning services support. So what that is next month I'll be presenting just a draft, so we have something for discussion. It's not in stone, but one thing that we do here is we, on the city side, have services to help support us. We're all volunteers. We're not professionals working in this day in, day out. And so clearly we get help with that. But we haven't really looked at the budget side of that, looked at the contract language, and it's just good fiscal sense to every once in a while look at that and make sure that we're getting the services. And then on an ongoing basis that, whether it's once a year or twice a year, they recommend every time from the state laws, if there's new changes, things that we need to update in our code. So that again is not something we watch on a daily basis, what laws and changes are happening there, but just those types of services to help us out. So that will be next month's bigger discussion item. This month we had 3 public hearings, so that was a lot. Next up under old business is we have been asked to look at rezoning a workshop date. And I don't know with folks if any of those dates worked for your schedules. And I think some of that was Marie. Dan, maybe you know some more on that, Daniel.
I think that's
I know I'm not able to make the 5th, but just if I can't make it, it doesn't mean it still can't continue on.
I can make any of them work.
For me, the best one at this point would be the 12th. Anyone have conflicts with that one? Okay, I'll forward that one back as possibility. Or do you want to let Marie know?
Since there's not gonna be any kind of decisions, it's just a workshop. I don't even know that we have to technically have quorum. It's just gonna be
If you can make it, make it.
yeah.
Posted.
I believe so.
So can you get back to her on that for that
Yep.
date? Okay, perfect. The rest of these are just more kind of making sure that we're aware and keeping on top of things so things don't slip through the zoning cracks. I know we had heard about a Gold Rush crossing. I've not heard an update on it since we had that at the meeting. I don't know, Jason, if you're on, if you have any updates for that one at all.
No, we haven't heard anything further from them or their attorneys.
Okay. Open position, we have not received any applications, but again, we have a healthy audience here tonight and a few online. So if you're interested, see me after the meeting. Officer positions, is there anybody interested in
I'll
being?
back you up.
You'll back me up if okay. Keep that in mind. We have talked about once we are fully up staffed and running that we will get some positions up and running here again. Minutes of the prior meeting, we already chatted about, so thanks, Dan. We did have some prior monthly incoming zoning apps, so I don't know if there are any outstanding questions on that from the last meeting. And we had an old driveway request. And any update on the People's Energy Co-op? They came and chatted with us once upon a time. We haven't seen anything in writing. I have 0 updates. I just know that it's out there and there is nothing concrete one way or the other.
Yeah, they came to EDA and discussed things, and EDA pretty much discussed the same stuff that
So
they,
you put it on paper, it's, yeah,
and if you're interested, they had I think they had a little bit more information in a slide, that's in the EDA minutes, I think it's about 10 minutes in.
Okay.
So,
that's, any other items, any other updates there? All
With
right,
Peoples, Kathy?
yeah,
With Peoples, we haven't gotten anything from the city, but I am meeting with Marty tomorrow, so I'm gonna follow up and talk with them more and see if they have any more update for us as to what they're doing. So,
Great.
but I know they're slowly wanting to get this moving forward. It just takes them a little bit of while to work through their board and all that stuff. So,
Well, maybe next month we'll have more of an update.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you. Any other updates on any of the topics we've just covered here? All right. Mel, did you remember any other, that you said there was something you were trying to remember? You remembered, I think, so. I think we are good. If there's no further at that, I will look to adjourn for this evening. All in favor of adjournment at 7:06 PM? Say aye. Any opposed to adjourning? No one. Thank you. We are done this evening.